I'm basic. I'm making a temperature blanket, because of course I am. I have to make at least one in my lifetime. Now I think is the best time to do it, because the weather is... Hi guys, it's Rowan, and welcome back to the Hobby Haul. So today I'm going to be talking about the temperature blanket that I'm going to be making in 2023, and because it is later in the year already, I'm just going to be talking about what I'm doing with it, like the gauge, stitches, size, color, palette, all of that, and hopefully it'll give you some ideas if you wanted to start one. It's not technically too late yet, just have to catch up like a month and a half. It'll be okay. Well, by the time I upload this, it's probably gonna be 2 or 2.5. You could do it. I believe in you. Anyways, I did sort of the basic approach to the temperature blanket, just single crochets back and forth. And the reason I did that is because, frankly, I liked the look of it better than like the granny square temperature blankets or just the pixel art temperature blankets. I really wanted to be creative with it, but I just didn't like the look of any of them as much as the plain single crochet. The thing I was creative on though was the color palette, because frankly the rainbow is horrendous. If you do a rainbow, no hate on you. I love rainbow colors. It's just, I don't know, it just looks bad in my opinion. So I wanted to do something different. Now, I don't know where it is. It's on the floor somewhere because I have to work on it every day. So the color palette I went for my temperature blanket was yellows and greens. This was a mistake. Not in the sense that I don't like the colors together. They do look good together. Don't get me wrong. But there are not very many yellows and greens, I've learned the hard way. So hopefully I'll be able to keep buying these colors over and over again, because there are not... I actually had to trade out a light yellow for a white because it just didn't show up compared to the other light yellow I had. So there was only about 4 options for each, and I used those 4 options. Anyways, so basically I have been recording all of the temperatures in my handy dandy bullet journal. I have just like a tracker page, sort of the habit tracker layout, but just for the temperatures. And the way I laid mine out is the colder it is, the lighter yellow it is, and then the hotter it is, the darker green it is. So I will try to explain this as best as possible. My temperatures are in 15-degree increments just because I didn't want to use too many colors. And so the first color, which is white, is anything that has a high below 0, which actually happened already this year. I thought that would be like a November, December thing, but no, in January. I love my region of the country. So anything below 0 is white. And then we have a really light yellow that is anything from 0 degrees to 15 degrees. This is the light yellow that I chose. It's kind of just like an off-white, but it is by Lion Brand, Pound of Love. It's big, and that's what I need. So this is the light yellow I chose. And then the white I chose was, I think, just Red Heart Super Saver in white. Let's put that to back. And then for anything that is 16 to 30 degrees is this slightly darker yellow. This is Red Heart Super Saver Lemon. It's a gorgeous color and I use it for everything. I actually just pulled out another ball of lemon yarn that is being used for another one of my whips. But this is for the blanket. Then for anything with a high, any day with a high of 31 to 45, which has been like this recent week, I am using Red Heart Super Saver in bright yellow. I'm using it a lot, which is why it's so floppy. I am glad I'm using it a lot. It's warmer now. But I hope I don't run out of this anytime soon. I might not. Well, I kind of hope I do because it's warmer. Some people from the south are going to be like, "You're calling 38 degrees warm?" And I'm like, "Yes, it is. It's February. It's warm." Anyway, this is the 31 to 45 degrees. Next, we're getting into the greens, and the first green I have is 46 to 60 degrees. I use Red Heart Super Saver Tea Leaf. It's like this nice sage green, I'd say. Gorgeous color. Once again, I use it for a lot of other projects that aren't just this blanket. Which, you know, this is why I chose the color palette, because I love yellows and greens a lot. Then, next, for anything 61 to 75 degree high, I have Red Heart Super Saver Spring Green. It's this, like, lime green color. Gorgeous. Haven't used it yet. I haven't used any of the greens yet, and it makes me sad, but once I get to, like, June and July, the dark green is going to be used up. Then, for anything that is 76 degrees to 90 degrees high, this is not a type of yarn I use a lot, so I can't just list it off. Caron 1 pound in Kelly Green. I tried my best to get these big skeins of yarn because I'm going to be using a lot of yarn for this blanket, but some of them I couldn't. This one I did though, and I'm very happy with it. Then for anything that is 91 degrees and up, that is a pretty broad range if you think about it, because where I live it gets far above 100 sometimes. I have Red Heart Super Saver in Hunter Green, which is the darkest green I can find, but it's gorgeous, so it's okay. Then, last but not least, I have my divider color, and this is the color that I put in between each month, and the color that I'm going to be using on the border once I'm finished with the entire blanket, and that is, hold on, Red Heart Super Saver and Cafe Latte. It's this really nice brown color, and I thought it would go with the other, like, yellow-green color scheme without mixing in too well, so that there's still that divide. Now, another page that I did in my bullet journal for this temperature blanket is just an overall plan page. It lists all the colors I used, what those colors mean temperature-wise, so that if I need to buy more, I have it in here and I don't forget. It also has gauge details, size of the blanket, etc. So the size of my blanket is going to be around 90 inches by 100 inches, and you're probably thinking, that is huge, how are you doing this? That's just what it ended up being with the measurements that I started off with. Now, the yarn gauge that happened to be used for this blanket is 12 single crochet by 15 rows with a 5.5 millimeter hook, and this adds up to about 270 stitches per row. You're probably thinking, wow, that's a lot. It goes by pretty fast, especially when you're doing something else. It's a nice daily thing. I personally think a lot of people would find it annoying, which is why temperature blankets aren't for everyone. And then for my overall plan, I am using single crochets for all the days, so it's just a nice simple line. And then the filler color is going to be used after every month, and that is going to be in half a double crochets so that it's thicker and more obvious that it's there. It is going to be 90 inches across, which with my gauge, that's what it ended up being. And that is a queen size blanket, which is my preference when it comes to blanket size. I think if I tried to do twin, it would end up being a really weird long rectangle. So I think queen is probably the best size, just because the way it ends up is more square than just like an awkward long rectangle. Then another thing that I plan to do once the blanket is finished is I plan on adding beads on the border that say 2023. I've never crocheted with beads before, but I have seen a lot of videos on it. I don't think I'm gonna have trouble with it, and maybe before the end of the year I'm going to try it out anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. And then I'm going to have some sort of border around the edge. Don't know if it's gonna be like scalloped or laced or anything, or if it's just gonna be single crochets, but we will see. And also, I probably mentioned this earlier, but every temperature is based off of the daily high, just to make things easier for me. I don't have to do averages, and I feel like the low just wouldn't be a good representation of the temperature of the day. And now, the thing you've all probably been waiting for is what it looks like so far. It is currently February 15th, and I am like 5 days behind, so it's not up to date at all. But this is what it looks like so far. It's rolled up. I promise there's a lot more. But this is what it looks like so far. You can see the January-February separation here. And I love the color scheme. You can see it got really cold right here. But I love the color scheme. I'm very happy with it. Let's see if we can do a size. Let's see if I can show you guys how big it is. I love it. It's gonna be really nice when I'm crocheting it in like the late winter months, because by that point it's already gonna be a blanket. And so while I'm crocheting, I'll have a blanket on my lap. It's beautiful. Anyways, those are my 2023 temperature blanket plans. I hope you enjoyed them, or maybe got some ideas for your own. My biggest suggestion when it comes to a temperature blanket is, even if you don't want to do a special pattern or a special stitch, do a good color palette. Once again, nothing against the rainbow ones. I just think they're not for everyone. They weren't for me. So I think finding a color palette that you like and you would have in your house or your room otherwise is essential, so you'll actually use it and not just keep it in a corner after the year is over. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like. I will for sure be posting more crochet as well as knit videos this year, because that is the main hobby that I have at the moment. Anyways, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Hiya, Editor Rowan here. It's been a while since I filmed this video. It is currently April 3rd, when in the video it was February. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on what the blanket looks like now, because it has been so long since I actually filmed the video. Well, this is what the blanket currently looks like. We got some green in there, but it's still mostly yellow, mostly darker yellow though, which is awesome. But yeah, just wanted to update y'all.
Hold on, I'm gonna grab it. Where's my baby? Oh yeah, I have a whip box now. I have a whip box. It's in the whip box.